Welcome back to the channel, folks, where today we look at another conspicuous ladybird in the family Coccinellidae, or the beetle family. In today's episode we'll be looking at the two-spot ladybird and its forms, otherwise known as Adalia bipunctata. This small ladybird of between 3 and 5 millimeters is very much a generalist, both in terms of habitat and diet, preferring aphid-rich trees such as lime and sycamore. The two-spot ladybird exists in a number of colour forms or morphs dictated by genetics. Whilst the typical form, f.typica, of the two-spot is relatively easy to identify, it can be confused with other small species of black ladybird such as the pine ladybird, the 10-spot ladybird or the harlequin ladybird, so care and attention to detail is required. Worry not, folks, in this episode we are going to take a deep dive looking at the common forms and confusion species. In this slide we see the forms of the two-spot, the typical form with black spots on a red background, and the 4 and 6 spotted versions with red spots on a black background. In this slide we see variation in the phenotypes of the colour forms or polymorphs which occur around the annular form, the quad forms and the hex spot forms. The following field photographs illustrate the common forms indicated, that is to say the form f.quadramaulata and the form f.sexupustulata, the 4 and 6 forms respectively. Next time you're out birdwatching, look for variations to the common theme. In this image we see the rare rabbit seer variant, and in the second image we see a variation known as the bar annulata. This slide highlights a few key ID points, notably the size, the black legs and ventral underside, and the form of the larvae, if identified, are found. So, what can this small but intriguing ladybird be confused with? The short answer: dark-formed confusion species of similar size and spot configurations. In this brief slide, which may be stopped at any point, we briefly outline key differences in the confusion species. One key identification characteristic is that the two-spot will have black legs and underside, whereas other species may have brown legs and a brown-orange underside. In this slide we highlight the kidney spot and pine ladybirds with their distinctive rim flange and distinctive shoulders on the pronotum. Here we have a slide illustrating the dark form of the 10-spot, which may be potentially confused. And finally, if not somewhat ironically, confusion with the dark form of its voracious predator, the harlequin ladybird, Harmonia axridis. The harlequin ladybird is perhaps one of the more obvious confusion species, with its white flanged cheek, its brown-orange legs and underside, and its relatively larger size. Here we see the harlequin ladybird in the form spectabilis, one of the forms most likely to be confused. And if you wish to learn more, visit our Beatles playlist for the episode on the harlequin. In this segment we include a few slides on anatomy and terminology which may be stopped at any point. In these slides we see the open wing case or elytra, which conceal and protect the insect's wings below it. In this slide we see the dorsal and ventral views of the insect and the key anatomical terms associated. Ladybirds exhibit the typical insect life cycle of egg, larva, pupa and adult, often undergoing a series of molts in the larval stage before it becomes an immobile pupae upon which the adult will emerge. It of course does not feed whilst in the pupal stage. Ladybirds commence the cycle by laying bright yellow clutches of eggs, where here we can see emergent larvae. Ladybirds are active between the months of March and October before going into a hibernation state. This slide, containing biology and life cycle, may be stopped at any point if so desired. Ladybirds can be identified in the larval form to an experienced eye by the position and colour of the tegal plate. Notwithstanding, the larvae in these two species are very similar, with the dark form in the 2-spot contrasting to a lighter, paler form in the 10-spot larval presentation. As a general principle, larvae should of course be reared to adult in order to support the confidence of any recorded identification. There are links in the description to a downloadable larval identification chart covering most of the conspicuous species. Our native 2-spot ladybirds are very much a generalist species found in a wide variety of habitats. They are frequently found on deciduous trees such as lime or sycamore, but can be found on a variety of plants supporting food such as aphids, including creeping thistle. Whilst the 2-spot ladybird is relatively common, their populations are declining due to competition from the invasive and voracious predator known as the harlequin ladybird, Harmonia axridis. This larger, voracious, invasive predator simply outcompetes, out-eats and out-reproduces our native species. So, whilst we look at some footage of a typical 2-spot, let's just summarise today's episode. We have indicated the key ID features of the 2-spot ladybird, Adalia bipunctata. We have also identified the common melanic colour forms, or polymorphs, of the 2-spot ladybird. We have also compared and contrasted the dark forms of the potential confusion species in terms of leg colour, size and other features. We have given an introduction and preamble to those confusion species we hope to cover on our playlists. Those species being the pine and kidney spot ladybirds, the 10-spot ladybird and of course the harlequin ladybird. And of course we touched on the biology of the 2-spot, such as the diet, habitat, life cycle and distribution. Well, that's it from me folks. Once again, thank you very much indeed for watching. Please leave a comment in the description about anything you have learned, anything we've omitted, and what you might like to see us include in similar future episodes. If you have liked or enjoyed this episode or series on British ladybirds, or found it interesting or educational, please help us by sharing and subscribing to help this channel become successful. In the meantime, until the next video, thank you for watching.